Okay. There it
All right,
goes.
let's get this started.
Yep. All right.
There we go.
All righty. Welcome, everybody. This is Saturday, March 2nd, and we are the Minnesota Spirit Hunters. And on our show today, we have guests from Mississippi. Casey is my co-host for tonight, and I'm filling in for Marcus, who is somewhere else. So welcome Andrea, Dolly, and Rebecca to our show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So let's start off. Tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you got started with paranormal.
Dolly, why don't you start us off?
My son Jared and I live in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we started Shadowz Paranormal in 2006. We became part of the TAPS family around 2011. I personally have done over 500 cases with our group, but I'm now in Tennessee, so my sister Kathleen is running the Mississippi group. So I'm
Wow.
outside.
Wow,
There we go. Is that better?
it is.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's
But
all right.
we go in pretty much with equipment trying to find other explanations. But we've had some crazy cases. One case I was held down. Another case I was bitten on my back. I was just sitting there holding equipment, wasn't doing anything. So we've got a lot of experience. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would not feel too good.
Well, we had one case, we just walked in and one of my girls was setting up cameras and we heard a huge crash. She was picked up and thrown headfirst into a wall.
Oh,
We had to
wow.
take her to the ER. But
Ouch!
those
Wow.
cases, yeah, those have been rare for us, thankfully, but we have had those cases.
That's not
Like I
good.
said, no, like I said, I'm in Tennessee now. I started a second group up here. My sister Kathleen is running the Mississippi group for me. So
There you go. What about you, Rebecca?
Well, I am in Gulfport, Mississippi, and I am new to Shadowz. I joined late summer of last year. Have only been on 2 investigations so far. And my previous experience is very little. I had some brief adventures with smaller groups that kind of disintegrated quickly and went their different ways. But I'm sort of the borderline skeptic. I'm kind of hard to convince. I'm very curious. I I'm one of those that I'm going to rule out everything something could possibly be, possibly, before I will say, okay, I think that's paranormal.
Right.
And
Gotcha.
that's me. And I've been I guess you could say I'm almost a lifelong resident of the coast. I went through Hurricane Camille and Hurricane Katrina here, so I guess I can call myself a native. But I was raised in Southern
Sure, yeah.
California.
I remember when those happened, and it was very sad.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
felt so bad for all you guys down there. Because Casey and I are from Wisconsin. We don't get that kind of weather up here by us.
yeah. It was nightmarish.
I believe
Mhm.
it. And you, Andrea?
I have been in the paranormal steadily for the past 5 years. But have been affected by the paranormal ever since I was 5 years old. So it's normal for mediums to deal with stuff like that. Beds getting shaked, you get poked, you get touched, you get talked to, you get waken up in the middle of the night. It's just, that's life.
Right.
It's just normal for me.
Sure.
I love that you're a skeptic, Rebecca. Maybe we can help work on that a little bit. But if you spend any time around me, you're going to realize, yeah, there's
Just
something
come
to
to
it.
my house one time. That's all it takes.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Or mine.
So
My
I've
house
been
was
a
from the
medium.
Civil War, so
Yeah. Oh, well, that'll be fun. Yeah.
yeah.
So I've actively been a medium for about 10 years now, honing the skills, so to speak, because I
Very
was
cool.
active duty military for 20 years and I kind of had to shut it down
Right.
because they really just don't talk about that. I didn't want to be put into the padded room, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Right.
So once I got out of the military, which was 2013, I started taking classes and reading books and educating myself on physics as well as the spiritual side, not only in American type of religions, and I hate to say it that way, but Christian and Lutheranism, Catholicism. You educate yourself in all the religion spaces because you need to understand where your client's coming from if they're experiencing something.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm still educating, still reading books. You get this veracity of gotta have it knowledge, So I like to consider myself well read as far as that goes.
Right.
Yeah. Case, I've actually joined the Minnesota Spirit Hunters. When was that? In August, Case?
Yeah. About August.
Yeah, in about August. And I've been on 3 investigations now.
Okay. Cool.
And each one has been very different.
They are. You have to take each one just open, well, not too open because otherwise you get stuff, but
You're right.
Right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have any of you guys had your name called out while you're on an investigation by spirits?
I have twice.
Mm-hmm.
And
You
once
have
it was
not.
my real name, and no one knew my real name. Not even my teammates knew my real name. And I
Wow.
don't use my real
Wow.
name.
That's cool.
Yeah. My real name is Dorothy, but they didn't know that. But we got an EVP saying Dorothy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And the homeowners, her family had lived for like 150 years, 0 Dorothys in their family.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was your experience like, Andrea?
Well, they were saying my name, waking me up. It wasn't. I have slept in several haunted locations. There
Look,
she is.
there's Kathleen.
Sorry, I'm late to the party.
Let me pause and let Kathleen introduce herself. Kathleen, go ahead.
Hey, sorry about that. I was having technical issues.
No, you're
Oh,
fine.
that's good. That's all good.
Okay, thanks.
We've been talking about you. It's okay.
That's good. I expect nothing less.
Sisterly love, right?
That's of course. I'm Kathleen O'Keefe. I'm the lead investigator for the Shadowz Paranormal in Mississippi. I've been doing it, I guess, about 3 years now, and I don't know what all we were doing besides that. I'm sorry, I was fiddling with my technical stuff.
We were,
No,
we
that's
were
all
just
good.
going around and introducing ourselves and to get to know to get to know each one of you a little bit better. So,
Okay.
the question was, I asked the three of them was, have you ever had your name called out by a spirit on an investigation?
I have not. I think everybody on the team has, but me so far, I think.
Not me.
Yeah, no, not you either? Okay, very good. I don't feel left out then.
I know with one investigation we were at, I guess there was one spirit actually called out my name and I was in a different area, so I had to be called up to the area where it was, and I'm like, what's going on? Oh, by the way, your name was called. I'm like, huh?
Wow.
Mhm.
I look forward to the day, but it has not happened yet. So
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, now what do I do? They're like, just talk to them. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
just
Yeah.
okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
consider yourself special. They picked you out.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Let's go with it.
right. Well, Casey, who's the one that's next to me, had his name called out how many times?
Almost every investigation I go to, except one.
Wow.
Almost every
That's
location
exciting.
I've had my name called, and some
Very
more
good.
than once. Some more than once. So,
I know they called out Marcus's name a few times.
yep.
So yeah, that was an experience for me.
Very cool.
So when you go on investigations, what kind of equipment do you guys use?
Are you talking to me or any? Is that for anybody?
Any of them? Any of you guys?
Go ahead.
I know. I like the dowsing rods. That's my favorite. I like to use those. We also use that. We do the Estes method.
Mhm.
That a lot. We have the my mind just went blank.
EMF
What's the one that's always going off,
detectors, the
Rebecca?
infrared
The
cameras.
K2,
The K2 is always going
K2,
off.
the REM pod,
K2.
EMF.
REM pod.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So of all the equipment that you guys have, what is your favorite?
Your body.
Who
Your
wants
body?
to go first?
It
I like the
tells me
dowsing rod.
everything I need to know. She likes the dowsing rods. Those are
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I like the digital recorder.
You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, that's a good
Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love catching the EVPs.
There you go. Mhm.
Cool.
Let's see. Chime in, Case.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
I just started with Shadowz Paranormal. I actually came from Oklahoma. That's where I
Okay.
retired from the military, and that's exactly what I wanted to get into. So I just joined a group there. I'm not going to mention their name,
Nope.
but it was a good training opportunity. I learned a lot with that group. A lot of the equipment techniques, the Estes methods. Love that one. It actually worked great for a couple of times where we had to actually help somebody cross over.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I've done 4 crossovers. They actually come to me and ask me for help. So if they don't come to me and ask for help, I don't do it because they may
Right.
just be perfectly happy where they're at.
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah, so they have to. I have to ask them, "Do you need help?" And if they say yes, then I come back and say, "Okay, well, what do you need help with?" It could
Right.
be a message. It could be crossing over. It could be, finding another loved one.
Sure.
Those kind, because they may not be on the same plane.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
I was happy to
other-
come over here in Mississippi, and I contacted Kathleen, and she said, "Yeah, let's go ahead and do an interview." She got me down to the Starbucks. I'm like, I won't skip that
Hey,
for a
all
second.
Right.
Coffee's my
I'll go
favorite.
to Starbucks any day with any of you guys.
That's right. I'm like, oh, this
Right.
girl's already in my heart. All right.
Yep.
And
love
she hit it
coffee.
off just great.
yes.
Yeah,
And my refreshers.
I gotta say, I like their standards. I like the fact that they are affiliated with the TAPS organization. They have set rules that you must follow, and their team seems like they're really tightly knit as far as being able to take care of each other, understand what the needs are of the other person, which is, all trust is 100% of an investigation. If you're going to work with people, you better darn well trust them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we don't go in and provoke things either, or try to, start things up for the homeowners. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I would probably give advice for people who are just starting out. Don't go in there provoking, because they'll make your life a living heck if you do.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no need to get any type of response that way. It's just rude.
No,
You don't
because
go
that's
into
what
somebody's
Marcus.
house and start poking them around. It's just
Exactly.
Because when Casey and I started with Marcus, he says, that was one of the number one rules: do not, go in there and don't provoke, because, that will happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. What else? Are there any locations that you like are your favorite? Of any of you guys?
That we've already been to, or that we'd like to go?
That, for both.
I wouldn't want to say anywhere I've been before that might be jeopardizing somebody's confidentiality, but I would love to go overseas and go around the UK, Scotland, Ireland, and visit some of the castles that have reputations.
Sure.
Having been haunted.
Like Lep Castle?
Definitely top of the list.
Yes.
Yeah, that's top of my list too.
Mm-hmm. The pubs are crazy over there, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The first pub I went to in the UK was in South Shields, where all the ships take off of. It's just south of London, about an hour and a half. Yeah. I walk in there just to have a lunch and end up meeting some spirits upstairs. And I asked the bartender, I said, so who's the 20-year-old and the 25-year-old that are upstairs in the bedroom? I haven't been up there before. And he's like, how did you know that? I'm like, well, because they're there. Didn't you see through the ceiling? It's so cool to go to those places, and you just like walking around the library in New York. The very, of course, where Ghostbusters was filmed on the outside, but not on the inside. So I'm walking around the front, and there's people everywhere, but I see this guard doing his rounds, just pacing around the front of the library, and I went, oh, this is interesting. So, yeah, I think everywhere is a popular place for me.
Right.
Okay.
What's yours, Kathleen? What's your favorite place to go?
I think the most fun I had would be, a couple of Halloweens ago, we had 2 news crews following us around at the Mary C. O'Keefe Museum in Ocean Springs. And we had a lot of fun there that night. Not really. I have a haunted doll that I brought with me, and she was lighting up a lot of the equipment, and we had, I guess, some cat balls were going off randomly. We didn't have a lot of experiences happening at the moment, but when we went to do the review footage, we had whispers and stuff like that. That we had a flashlight that turned on when we were in the museum area. It was just a lot of fun to do it, and then there was another home. I don't want to say where it was located, but there was a home that there was a young man that when he was young, he lived in the home. And then he came back as an adult to take care of his. Hey, sorry, puppies. Yeah,
it's okay.
Come on. He came back to take care of his mother and lived in the home, and she lived in the home next door. Well, when he was a teenager, he had played with the Ouija board, hadn't closed it out properly, and it had burned the board.
Wow.
And so started having activity in the home that he was residing in. And we had a lot of interesting experiences there. Nothing like, moving or whatever, but just like personal experiences. But we caught a really good audible whisper of a child whispering kitty on the outside of the home.
Lucky.
And then we were able to talk to like an Indian spirit that was
Lucky.
outside of the home protecting the mother in the yard,
Right.
from that home. So, but when we were packing up our equipment to leave for the evening, things started going crazy in the house. Like the toilet seat started going up and down, the door started slamming shut. It was just like stuff started breaking loose, So we ended up doing the cleansing on the house. There was a shaman in the group at that time, and she did some kind of a crystal grid in the yard. She came back and did that later on, but it was an exciting home to be a part of. But that was one of the clearest EVPs I've ever heard to date. Was that kitty on the side of the yard that we got. So.
Cool.
Well, what about you, Dolly? Do you have any favorite places?
Well, there's a couple. One in Biloxi we did was the Biloxi Coliseum. We had some EVPs and a lot of nice things happened there. But there was a house up in Memphis that the Mississippi group went to several times. And the first 2 or 3 times, nothing happened. And the homeowner was calling, crying every night about how bad it was. So the third time we went out with an all-female crew. The house went crazy that night. At one point, it held me down. I had bruises on my thighs. And right when that happened, we got an EVP of a man saying, "Did you feel me?"
Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then the flashlight, we did the flashlight where it came on and off, was answering questions. That went on for like an hour and a half straight. But we did end up blessing the house, and it was real quiet after that. That was probably my favorite case. That we found out a biker had lived there. He used to beat up on his girlfriend all the time. He was killed by the house. So we think it was him, and he didn't like women or had something against women. And that's why he reacted that way with an all-female crew.
Wow.
That's not
We've
cool.
had some good ones. And then my house, of course, but
Right.
What year is your house?
It's from the 1800s. It was a hospital during the Civil War.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow.
I've got
I need to have a
EVPs
visit.
I've got EVPs of a soldier in my basement. People have seen several apparitions. There's a little girl. There's a woman. We've seen a man upstairs. I mean, it's crazy.
Mm. Yeah.
Do you hear any strange noises at night? Like
It's
you know
crazy
me?
all the time. I mean, I was
Is
yanked
it?
out of bed one time.
Hey, no.
I was just sleeping and it yanked me out of bed, and our clothes will get moved from one floor to another floor when no one's home.
Oh wow.
Wow.
But no, it did quiet down when my ex-husband left. So I think he kind of fed into it or made it worse or something. I don't know. But I think he had a lot to do with the activity in the basement mainly. Is where it was bad.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting.
Sorry, a bunch of cars going by.
You're perfectly fine. Let's see. Anything for you, Case? Questions?
Not really.
Let's see here. Do you guys have any questions for the two of us?
You're up there where all the excitement happens. I'm a little jealous because you get all the cons going on and the paranormal events, and I'm like, I need to live up in that area, but I don't want to because of the weather. You guys have the hardest weather.
Yeah, so in August there is the Paracon in Michigan.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
Speaking of Michigan Paracon.
Yeah, this will be my first time actually going to one, so it'll be interesting.
This will be my fourth time going.
Oh, I want to go so bad. the one in Michigan.
They just don't have them in the South as much. They really don't.
They don't.
Wow.
No, I think it's because so many people are kind of still against paranormal in the South, believe it or not. I know in Tennessee they are. Oh yeah, in Tennessee they are. Certain areas, yeah.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it depends on their beliefs and what they were brought up with.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, what age were you guys, like, and each one of you guys when you first started paranormal?
Kathleen, you go ahead.
As an investigator or just being interested in paranormal?
Both.
Okay. Well, I can remember my son, he's 30 now, and I can remember when he was, I don't know, probably 8 years old. Every Wednesday night we would watch Ghost Hunters. That was like our mommy son date night. We would watch Ghost Hunters and we would eat cookie dough. Go, Mom.
Nice.
But we would watch it, that was, and I'll be 50 in October. So, but
You'd
as
look
far as
it.
oh, thank you. But as far as investigating, I guess, how old am I? 49. So that would be 46 years old. I actually started doing the investigations. I was interested in it for a long time, but my husband is a skeptic. And so, we've been together for 25 years. So I let his beliefs deter me
Right.
from getting involved
Oh.
for the longest time. And now I don't care. But
Right.
you know.
What about you, Dolly?
Well, believe it or not, in third grade, my mom got a call from my teacher. I wanted to check out a book on true ghost pictures. Third grade, kid you not. So very, very early, I was curious. I wanted to see it. And I'm like, that one looks kind of funny. I mean, even at third grade, I was already looking at it that way. I had experience as a teenager at my parents' house, and again, it seems like almost every house I live in, I have experience. So maybe I kind of attracted or something, like a magnet or something. I don't know. And I've been investigating. I'm almost 60. I started investigating around 40.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah.
Very cool. What about you, Rebecca?
I guess my real interest in the paranormal and the question of what happens after someone dies, it started with what kind of work I used to do. I used to be a medic on an ambulance and worked mostly in New Orleans and had people pass in a whole lot of different ways right in front of me. And that feeling of them being there 1 second and then there's nothing there after, and where does it go? What happens?
Right.
And so many times as they're passing, they're recognizing loved ones, calling to people that I later found out had already passed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I first started getting interested in what happens. Where do they go? It just blows my mind that they're there 1 minute talking to me and then they're not.
Right.
And
Right.
that's where my original interest came from. And I've been asking that question to myself for a long, long time.
Wow. I give you a lot of credit.
Yeah.
What about
And
you,
that-
Ann?
Well, I started at the age of 5, seeing faces in the dark. They would just stare at me, so it was a little weird. So,
Yeah, I would say so. Kindergarten age.
yeah, it's as soon as I could talk, I was, going downstairs and saying what I was seeing in my room. There was other things that started happening when I turned into my teens. It became more prophetic. I was actually having dreams that would come true. I would tell people about my dreams, and then it would happen within 3 days. That was my mark.
Wow.
I don't know why, but it would. And I've had visions, something happening, and it would be 5 minutes before it actually happened. So it was kind of freaking me out. I was only 16.
Wow.
And I have witnesses for everything. All the events that happened, all the cognitive dreams. I even, for a while there, I tried to prevent them from happening, but now I realize you can't.
Right.
All I'm seeing is a picture of the future. No matter what you do, you cannot change that path that other person is on unless they choose to make a deviation, because it's free will. So I just said, okay, fine. Because I was so angry with him. I was going, why are you showing me this stuff if I can't do anything about it? What do you want? So
Right.
I was getting so
Yeah.
livid about it. I was like, come on, there's got to be a reason behind this.
Right.
But they would say, nope, just tuning you in. And then I started traveling in in the dream state, traveling to different locations, different houses. I could describe the entire house to you, right down to where the lamp was located on the furniture table, on the tables, or whatever. Everything. And it was like living a separate life, because every night I would just get up and go take a trip, go to California or Thailand or India or yeah.
At least doing it that way, it's free. I mean,
It is free. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I don't have to sit in a coach class with
Right.
some fun stuff. Yeah, I'm there within a second. So I learned how to actually do that in the waking. So I can see through buildings, see who's in there, where they're located, what they're wearing, how they're dressed, you know, what color their hair is, everything.
right.
From the outside of the house. So you don't even have to go inside. That one
That's
is
interesting.
that one just showed up a couple years ago. Kind of freaked me out when it happened a little bit, because I was like, well, that's new, but I'm not going to doubt it. I'm going to go with
Right.
it. And it turned out to be fact. And the person who I was talking to didn't even know that that was there. I told them what
Wow.
was there, and they went, I've been in this building for 5 years. I've never heard of that. And then 2 days later, they come back and have photos of it. I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
there
wow.
it is. So, yeah, I like to be utilized for a team's safety.
Right.
And I know that sounds weird, because I tried to get it with another team, and I said, you know, it's handy to have somebody who can do this sort of stuff, because you're trying to keep your team safe. He goes,
Right.
what do you mean by safe? I'm like, okay, never mind. We're good. I'll just go find someone else.
You
If
know,
you haven't experienced it on that level yet, then you don't understand what you can get
Right.
yourself into.
right. And
Yeah.
like I said, you know, I'm still kind of new, like, you know, like getting the feel of stuff more now. And it's been very interesting, you know, to every location I've been. I have not skipped a location quite yet. Because I know there was one we were going to Illinois in March, but that one we're putting off till at least July or August.
Why is that?
Renovations.
Yeah, renovations.
Oh, okay. And that's stirring it up, probably, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
The renovations are stirring it up, because usually they can't stand that when that happens.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I think that's what Marcus said. They were starting pretty soon on that.
Okay.
But yeah, it was gonna be at a school.
Oh, yeah, those are high hit areas.
Have you guys ever investigated a school?
I have.
You have?
Yes, a Catholic school down in Mississippi.
Cool.
It was actually part of a girls' science project, and she won the state finals with that project.
Wow.
She got
Oh,
to
wow.
investigate with us. So it was kind of interesting working with the student at the school and everything.
Nice.
But nothing bad.
Right, stuff that was really interesting there.
Right. I think we got like an EVP or maybe 2 EVPs. This was like 12 years ago, so it's been a while.
Neat.
That's cool. Have any of you guys ever investigated a school?
We've done several libraries, but no schools.
Libraries.
Hmm.
What was that
Hospitals.
experience like?
Yeah. Libraries, what? Yeah, they're active. I don't know why that is. Why is that?
I don't know why they are. We had one that was really interesting. There was a singer. Was he a singer? It was a musician and a singer, I believe, from the Prohibition days that was there with another lady that was like a real old school, like church prim and proper lady. And so to talk to both of those two that were just so opposite, you know, the personalities were so just opposite of one another. It was very interesting. You know, Bubba was the one that was the singer, and when he would answer our questions, he would sing the answers. And so when we were doing the Estes method, it was, you know, some of us would sing the answers as we were talking as him. It was just funny. But then he would some of his language would get very colorful because he was from New Orleans, you know, and it was, she did not like that. So it would become an argument between the two of them. It was just hilarious, you know. And there was one point where he threw glitter on one of the librarians and one of the investigators as they were walking out of the, we had ordered a pizza and had some pizza and something to eat before we got started on the investigation, and they had thrown glitter on us as we were walking out or something. I can't remember who it was. It was not myself, but he was just he was a comical character, you know, so he was very interesting.
That's awesome.
He was a comedian.
Sounds like you guys have a group. So Andrea, how many members are on your team?
As far as this team, this is my physical team that I have here.
This is the physical team that you have?
Yeah. And I think we have a couple of more members, don't we? Have a total?
Yeah, there's Chanel. Chanel's the only one that's missing here. We want to keep it small if we can, just because we haven't had as good of experience when we have more members. I like it. I think it's better when we have a smaller group that works really well together. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it keeps the clutter down and the contamination.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
I do have another group that I work with, but they're more Zoom related, and that's the Warren Legacy Foundation.
So virtually.
Yes, work virtually. We remote view into the locations. Sometimes without the address, they give us just a name and a city.
That's interesting.
So we have to pick up things like that. But usually when we're talking to clients on a Zoom basis, it's helping them get educated on how to help themselves.
Right.
Wow.
Or what might be causing that problem. Education on the fact of removing fear. We only fear things because we don't know what it is. And if you learn about it and you learn how to control it and you learn that you do have the power to be able to change the situation, that's when the fear starts to diminish. So education. And then we help them walking through their own blessing, because who's supposed to do the blessing of their house? They are. Everybody has that misinterpretation. It's supposed to be the investigators. No. It's supposed to be the owner of the home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a case that I went to. They had claimed they had poltergeist activity.
Yeah.
And we went and investigated. We didn't really get that, but by the time we're done, since then they haven't had any activity. And we didn't even have to cleanse or anything. So I just told them maybe they just want attention. And
sometimes that is the case too. Yeah. We have had a few where we've just had to let them go, because you call us for advice and then they wouldn't do it.
Right.
So you kind of have to realize, hey, you like your own drama, you want to remain in this state, then if you're not going to do what we are asking, then we're going to have to let you go. You can.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. It happens, right, Kathleen? It's occasionally you get those people that
absolutely.
That didn't happen.
They don't want to follow directions.
Yeah, give me an investigation. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Have you ever been on an investigation where the spirits like to swear?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Very colorful.
Yes, because our last investigation we were at, that happened, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I think more than once it's happened.
Nope.
True. Did you hear it on the box or out loud? How did you?
No, we've heard on I actually did the evidence review of it, and we've caught it on our recorders and video and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Kathleen, and we were told that prior that it's known for it, but we never caught it until now. So.
Oh, okay. Sometimes they're hard to hear.
Yeah.
So have
Dolly?
each.
Sorry. I was going to ask Dolly where she heard hers.
Yep.
We had one in Ocean Springs. It was like a cafe bar, and we got EVP of him calling us some names. We'll just say,
Ooh.
yeah,
Wow.
very clear too, very clear.
Yeah. They can get irate when they don't know why you're there.
Yeah.
Right.
I had one in Ada, Oklahoma. Can't say anywhere else. I can't say exactly where it was, but I was standing there and he was in my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what a foul mouth on this person. So I asked the lady, I said, this individual that I'm picking up, did they cuss a lot? And she goes, oh my gosh, like a sailor. Okay. I'm definitely hearing this person going blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, you can settle down now, mister. We're here for a good reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He
Yeah.
just didn't understand why we were here. He thought we were playing around. I was like,
No.
so I had to explain to him, look, this is why we're here, and you can just relax a bit. So
Yeah.
Right.
he did. He calmed down after that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yep. So, have you guys gone back to any of your old locations for any follow-ups?
I know that's one thing we were really firm about. We usually do 5 or 6 investigations at least. I don't believe in doing one and calling it a night and that's it. You need to go back over and over to get answers for these people.
Yep.
So,
Right.
but almost all the time.
How about you, Kathleen? Have you?
Yeah, we've done, it depends on the circumstances, obviously, but we have done follow-ups on the properties if they're needed, obviously. Yeah. Absolutely.
See, they got great ethics, these guys. This is why I was, following to them. I was brought to them, so
Right. Yeah.
I only like to work with people who are going to be honest and ethical and straightforward with the clients, and make sure that their privacy is kept.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That is paramount. We don't do any videos or share videos or share evidence on any social media, which is amazing. And if you do it, you can share maybe an EVP or something, but you can't say where it's from.
Right.
Yeah, we just
Unless
put
you get it-
undisclosed locations.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
great.
Unless you ask permission to do so.
Right.
That's
Which we
true.
had some homeowners, they let us bring TV crews there, newspaper reporters. They didn't care. We had a few
Right.
like that. But
Oh,
most
Right.
people, they don't want no one to know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Yep. Let's see. I don't know. I don't really have any more questions to say.
Well, I have a
Um,
question.
Sure,
that-
absolutely.
Has anybody here experienced some kind of what you felt like was a paranormal activity outside of an investigation, just doing something routine?
All the time.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
Well, in July, my cousin just passed away from suicide.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, she just turned. She turned 40 on the 7th of July, and I guess the next day she took a gun and to her head.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Mm.
So I think it was a couple nights after that happened. I was sleeping here, and I had like this vision, and it was her, but she was like frozen. She didn't move, but she was looking at me, but she didn't say a word. She just stared at me, and I was like trying to, and I told Casey, I was like, I have to help her. I have to get I had to get out of bed, and I have to get my clothes on, and I need to go get her. Because somehow she's in trouble, but she didn't talk. She just stood frozen, she had like glassy eyes. So I didn't know if that was like a sign of something, or because I asked him and he said that might be. I don't know, but I know she's married. She was married and has children too. So
So
yeah, that
sad.
was yeah.
Mm.
It
Sometimes,
was
and this, when you had this vision, was it after, or could you place the timeline?
no,
You
because
couldn't?
my cousin actually one of my cousin that's the same age as me. I was at work and he messaged me on Messenger and he told me at like that she passed away in the morning of the 8th, but he didn't tell me what time.
Okay.
So yeah, it was just like and this is like the second cousin that's passed within 2 years.
Okay. Sometimes when somebody is going through a traumatic event like that, um, they can have a separation
Mm-hmm.
of soul and body before, uh, and that's when it can also mean that the individual has not fully transitioned yet. Meaning, everybody thinks that you just, when you pass, you transition, you're into the spirit energy world, and you already know how to communicate, you already know how to walk, it's just like Ghost, the movie. He had to learn
Yeah.
how to move things, he had to learn how to talk to people.
Yeah.
You do have a learning curve there, and I've heard before from some other people that it can take anywhere from 4 to 6 months for them to be able to get used to their new transition state.
Surroundings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then I guess before she passed, I had a cousin she was 25 and she passed away from overdose of fentanyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Hear that?
I guess they put it in her drink and she drank it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was an accident.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yep. So I've had two cousins pass away within almost 2 years.
Mm.
It's heartbreaking for your family.
It
Yeah.
was, and one of my friends actually told me to get over it.
Oh no,
Wow.
no.
I'm like,
One of-
absolutely not.
That's one of the things that I do, in addition to the investigation part of it, is I actually will assist. If somebody asks me to give them a reading, I give readings for free. I
Oh,
don't
wow.
charge. I don't charge. I haven't been told that I could
Right.
yet. So, uh, but I've been called to do a service for those who are mourning a loved one and aren't getting to a point where they can even cope with life at that point. So,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I'm just brought to these people. They come to me. I don't seek them out. I don't advertise. They actually just come to me. I'll be sitting right next to them at a ladies group meeting, and then they start talking. I'm going, oh, okay, this is why I'm here. But I wait for them to ask me, because I
Right.
don't force it on anyone. They have to be ready on their own time.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I have a reason that I asked this question.
Okay.
And very recently, like within the last 2 months, I had what I thought, hey, this may be my very first real paranormal experience that I
Mhm.
can't write it off to anything else. Is a friend of mine's sister passed away unexpectedly. They found her inside of her apartment, and I had been friends with her too. And so they removed her body, and me and her sister went in the next day and started cleaning it out, cleaning the apartment out. And her sister was working in another room, and I was working in the kitchen. And I know her voice, and I so clearly heard her voice say right behind me, "What's up, gal?" And I had
Wow.
never, I, and so I kind of shouted for my friend, and I said, "Did you just hear something that was maybe in the next apartment, a voice?" And she said, "No, I didn't hear anything." And at the time, I didn't mention to her what I thought I heard. Then later on that day, when we had left there, I asked my friend, just kind of saying, "Your sister, did she ever, when she would greet you or greet anybody, would she say something like, "What's up? What's up, gal?" Is that something she said? And she said, "Oh, every time she walked through my front door in my house, she'd say, 'What's up, gal?'"
Mm,
There
And
you go.
then I told her why I was asking her that I
Yeah.
had thought I had distinctly heard her right next to me say, "What's up, gal?" And this
Hmm.
was like within 24 hours of her
Wow.
passing. And that was kind of something I haven't been able to relate to something else to reason it off. I know her voice. I know that was her voice.
That was her,
Sure.
Hmm.
And
for sure. You got to hear a disembodied voice, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
They really
my very first real paranormal experience, I think.
good. That's awesome. That's a good one.
Congratulations.
But you certainly do get caught off guard. You're like, what?
And that's
Mhm.
exactly what I did. I
Question
went,
it.
Where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
I've never actually heard like voices or nothing.
No.
Probably
I-
once I get into more investigating and stuff, I probably will start to hear them. But
Yep. A recent investigation we did, I heard a disembodied scream from someone.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, okay then.
That's
right,
unnerving. Yeah.
right. Well,
Yeah.
we got 6 minutes left, and any final words or thoughts or experiences that you guys have?
No. Kathleen.
Nothing.
Want to tie it up, Kathleen, with anything? For our locals,
guess-
how can they reach you?
Yeah. How can you if you are there any like places in Mississippi that are popular to investigate?
I think there's a lot of people that like to do the Coliseum, and the Mary C. O'Keefe has been hit a few times now. Beauvoir is always popular. There's, I guess even the Lighthouse is probably pretty popular. What about you, Dolly? Do you remember any of the local haunts from
Well, there
down
was a
here?
few, but they were undisclosed. It was like hotels and restaurants. They didn't want the publicity.
Yeah, I was thinking more of the ones that are like known, that they were saying
Yeah.
that people are known for, popular.
The Jeff Davis home comes to mind offhand.
Yeah,
Only did it
Beauvoir,
once in a
yeah.
while. Yeah.
Mhm.
there was another place in Gulfport somewhere in the past. The house is not there anymore. It burned down, called the Cahill Mansion. And there
Yep.
was
Yeah.
supposed to have been some really significant activity out in that area. I'd love to go check it out. I'd have no idea where it is, but I hear a lot of talk about it.
Gotcha. What about you, Andrea?
Well, I'm new to the location, but
Sure.
here's the weird thing. When I went house shopping, I used to be a realtor in Oklahoma, so I know how to do a house shop. I get my list together. I know exactly what I want. I set the criteria, and I go out first day. I said, I want to see this, and this, and this, and this. And then one popped up, and I told this to my husband. I said, on my way there, because he had to stay at home, I came out here to assist my parents in the move as well. I said, the day I walk into the realtor's office, one is going to pop up in our criteria. Send it to me immediately. That'll be the one. He goes, you're joking, right? I said, no, I'm serious. So I walk into the realtor's office. He texts me and says, you got to add this one. It's awesome. I went, that's it. And he goes, no, you're kidding. He says, seriously, go look at it. I'm like, no, that's it. I don't have to look at any of the others. So, but I did. I looked at 6 houses. This was the last one. And this was it.
Very cool.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this is it kind of called to me to being its owner because it has an Indian mound right out back.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I had to find out from my lawnmower guy of all people.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, Clayton, he's my mower guy. I love him. He's great. He's lived here in Diamond Head all his life. So he said, "Did you know what that mound is back there?" I said, "No, they had pictures of excavations going on that they put into the binder for the home." And I said, what are these? My realtor didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't explain anything. Maybe they were thinking I'd get afraid of it. No, I want to buy it even more, right?
Right.
So yeah, and since I've been here, we've had disembodied voices, electronic issues, being woken up at 3:30 in the morning. You know the routine. It's regular stuff.
Right.
So yeah, but I was meant to move here for this reason.
Very cool.
It's been great.
Where can we find, how can we reach out to you guys?
What's our website, Kathleen?
It's shadowsparanormal.com.
But the Shadowz has a Z at the end of 7F.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's spelled different.
Oh, yep. I can see that.
That was my son's idea. I don't know why.
I like it. It's a great
Yeah,
idea.
it's different. Yeah.
It is
Unique.
different.
Unique.
Yeah. I grew up with a dog named Shadow, so it kind of fits.
Oh, wow.
I had a cat named Shadow.
There you go. See,
Meant to be.
Meant to be.
There you go. Pets names and yep, absolutely.
You
Well,
guys have
it
been
was-
great.
Yeah, it was a pleasure talking to you guys, and hopefully you
Me too.
guys can
Same
back on
here.
us.
Same here.
Have another show.
Yeah.
Do
with
this again
Marcus this
sometime.
time.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
see you at one of the cons. I'll be there.
Okay.
I'm manifesting the money right now.
We're trying to
And
go
there's
this
some
way.
for me too, please.
One last thing, would you guys
Yeah.
like to investigate with other teams?
Oh, wow.
What's that?
Would we like to?
Would you like to investigate, like branch out with to investigate
yeah.
with another team?
Oh, yeah, always.
We
Yeah.
have a team from Florida coming up here to Tennessee to investigate with us this summer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're going to try to go to Hell's Dam or the Chattanooga Civil War Park. We're trying to decide between the two.
Ooh,
Oh,
Yeah. Or there's Brushy
that would be
Prison.
interesting.
oh, prisons.
Cool places
wow.
here.
Oh,
You
yeah.
do have the cool places.
Yeah, but I think teamwork's important too. There's a
We've
lot
got
of
some
Yeah.
we've got some interesting
backstabbing and stuff. I
places
don't
up
believe in
there.
all that. I believe in working together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some interesting locations here in Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah,
got the
we
older
do.
stuff too.
Yeah, we do. We have very interesting Yep. Especially in I grew up in Appleton, Wisconsin, and there's a house that's really old that had the first electricity was the first thing
Yep.
in the house.
Yep.
Yeah. And we wanted to go investigate there, but I guess they didn't want nothing to do with it.
Oh, wow.
I can't help
But
that.
that would be kind of interesting to do.
Yep.
Old Victorian houses would be kind of cool.
I love
Yeah, that
those.
would be cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are
I love
definitely.
those too. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of things under the floorboards for some reason in those places. I don't
Right.
know why. Yes.
Yes.
In the
Well-
walls.
Yep. So we will wrap up, and we'll hopefully plan for another show with you guys with Marcus.
Be great.
Yeah, that would
Okay.
be great.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
us.
having
You
us.
guys are wonderful.
Yeah.
And thank
Nice
Yeah.
you.
talking to
Very much.
everybody.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
showing up. Appreciate it.
Bye, y'all.
That's it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Should we do the outro?
We can.
Okay. Alrighty.
All
Have a
right.
good night, Dolly.
Yep.
You too. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Have a good night.
Yep,
Bye.
bye.
All right.